Evening. What's up, everybody? Good evening. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. We're going to get started with this thing here. I hope everybody has had a great week. It is Thursday. One more day to go for some. Today may have been the beginning of the weekend for others. All I know is it's a 3-day weekend. And I'm going to find something to do with those 3 days. I'm finding something to do. So we're gonna get started with this thing because I don't want to delay the moment, y'all. We're gonna get popping on here. If anybody saw the post, and pretty much I'm sure most of y'all did saw the post, letting y'all know what's happening tonight. I have three wonderful crazy cool sexy people joining me tonight on this live. So let me do a little housekeeping real quick. Just a little housekeeping real quick. Welcome, good evening. I'm Donna. Welcome to the Real Life Relationship Growth Experience. This is our time. This is our now twice a month meetup. It used to be every week. We used to meet every Friday. Switch that up, as y'all can see at the bottom. I'm sorry, running at the bottom here. Switched it up, and I am on every second and fourth Thursday of the month. Got have other things going on, so I needed to make time to come and join and be with y'all, the people I love, and of course the people that I'm responsible for that I love. So we're on every second and fourth Thursday of the month, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, all right. A quick snippet of what this is. Real life relationship growth. This is our time to come together. This is the criteria for you to be a part of this family. All right. This is the criteria. You have to be single, dating, courting, divorced, married, a widower, or engaged. I had to add the engaged part in that. Real life relationship growth focus is to nurture healthy, growing, productive, wonderful relationships. That could be between a man and a woman. That could be between a father and son, so on, so on, so on. Now, we tend to kind of hone in on relationships, male female relationships. We kind of focus in on that more than anything, which is fine because I really believe that foundation before you get to all that other stuff, you got to have that connection with that too. And that grows out and it bonds and everything else and everybody connected to it. So, Camper Conversations, we've been doing this thing. It is called Camper Conversations. Some people get a little confused. Like somebody texted me one time, I was like, do I have to have a camper? Do I have to go camping to do this thing? No, 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 no. Real quick. I bought a fifth wheel camper. I have a Coachman Catalina fifth wheel. I hook up to the back of my truck. I go out, I take it. It's my place of woosah. Go out in the woods or whatever and just have a good time. I was in there one day and I was thinking, yo, this is a good environment because it's nice and cozy and relaxed to come in and just chat up on some stuff, some things that we deal with life and day to day in relationships. That's how it started out at Camper Conversations. As y'all can see, I am no longer in the camper, but if y'all go to the YouTube channel, and I would love for you guys to subscribe, go to the YouTube channel and you will see all the videos from day one. And the majority of them started in the camper. So no confusion. You don't have to have a camper. This is not a camping thing. That's how it started out as Camper Conversations. So we can be anywhere doing this thing, and that's what we do. So tonight, I'm sorry, big up to the brothers. I always have to give flowers where they are due, give that applause, because ladies, I'm telling y'all, if y'all worried about the men talking and communicating and giving their feelings and thoughts, this is where you need to be. I'm going to be honest. 85% of the topics that come to me in inbox, text, or whatever is from our kings, our brothers, our leaders. Now, they don't always want to get on camera and they're a little bit shy, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, ladies, sometimes we do a lot more of this than they do. But I'm telling you, they are commenting, they are watching, they are posting. If you want to post to the page, you have the freedom to do that. You can do it anonymously. You don't have to worry about somebody side-eyeing, because me personally, I don't care what you think in the perspective of life and things that happen and go on, but some people not so open, and that's okay. That is okay. So brothers, big up to y'all. Thank you so much for being here, because regardless of what they say, my personal perspective, we need y'all. We need y'all. Ladies, y'all doing it too. I'm not going to leave y'all out. Y'all doing it too. Appreciate y'all. So let's get this thing started. Our topic tonight is, ladies, chick, sister, girl, it's your fault. It is your fault. It is your fault. So I'm going to introduce my crew for the night, my ride or dies tonight. These are my peoples. These are my peoples. I'm going to introduce, I'm going to bring them on camera one by one, and then I'm going to let y'all know who y'all seeing. Who y'all seeing? The lovely chocolatier you see, she's underneath me. I don't know where she stands in y'all camera frame, but she's underneath. This is my girl, Miss Corey B. Miss Corey B. Corey and I met. Wow. How long ago was that?
That was
some years.
Yes.
It's more than 5.
Absolutely.
It's definitely more than 5. But Corey and I met initially through a group we were both a part of, and it was a singles group. It was a singles group. So we met there. Let me tell y'all real quick. Corey and I had never seen each other in person. You know, as social media does, it kind of builds relationships. And Corey and I kind of built a rapport that way. Corey lives. I was kind of leery about saying where Corey lives, because you know how it goes. But we all right. Corey is in. Corey's from Delaware. Corey's from Delaware. She's in that area. Corey is an Eagles fan. Corey's an Eagles fan. Corey's proud, proud black single woman. You get rid of them Eagles and get a Steelers jersey on your back. But we'll talk about that later.
Come on, cousin. Come on. But
that is Corey. That is Corey. And we have to the right, well, to the bottom, to the right of Corey on my screen, we have Mr. Cortland Tony. Y'all have seen Cortland before. Cortland is my first cousin. It's funny because I used to tell everybody, this is my baby cousin. Now he bigger than me, and he a grown man. But this is my cousin Cortland. Cortland has a platform as well, and he goes on, I believe, Mondays and Wednesdays?
Yeah, Mondays and Wednesdays. Motivational Mondays and Transition Wednesdays.
Okay. So that's Mr. Corey. And last but not least, Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark is the founder, director, producer, all of that of Date Night Online. Mark, give us a quick little snippet of Date Night Online. What's that about?
Well, Date Night Online is basically a platform where mine's is different. I decided earlier last year that I wanted to create a platform for people to actually come on and actually talk about their dating experiences. We try to find, answers to some of the questions that we may have when it comes to men and women and men. I'm more of a moderator. I decided to not be, the guy that's going to tell you what my opinions are. Now, I will interject during the conversations, but for the most part, what I found through this particular platform, once we typically have a conversation, some of the most powerful feedback I've got is that most people come away with self-accountability. So this platform is for everybody to come on and to learn more about dating and also about themselves. So that's basically it. Date Night Online, YouTube, Date Night Online.
Okay. All right. So I like to link up and give resources and things like that. So what y'all don't catch with us verbalizing, just talking, I'll put in the chat. We can put in the chat how you can be a part of each and everybody's on here that has the type of platform, be a part of their world and be a part of supporting and getting some good information, giving some good information. Listen, I always like to say this. Let me say this, y'all. I am not a professional. I'm not a professional. I don't have any degrees behind me that speaks on relationships and things like that. But what I am I'm a Black woman in this world, living this life, doing a damn thing, and enjoying myself in the process. The ups, the downs, all of it. I'm going to use what works and what helps. And if it doesn't, I'm throwing it away. So I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. We are not here to tell you how to live your life. We are here because our heart focus is healthy, productive relationships. I may have been through some experiences that can help you out. You may have been through some experiences that can help me out. So we're not going to get offended. We're not going to say who's trying to tell me how to do and how to do that. But I know one thing. I've learned, I've heard it all my life, and now I feel it. I know it. When you learn better, you do better. We don't always know the right thing to do. So sometimes somebody else may have something. So as that being said, we're going to get popping with this topic. Ladies, it is your fault. Mr. Tony, I'm gonna let you get started, Mr. Tony. Lady, what you mean, ladies, is your fault? Why is it our fault? What we talking about?
Well, you know, I gotta say that I came to this topic by just happenstance. Just talking with some of my female friends that are still, you know, in the dating game and some of the stuff that they deal with, and some of the stuff that they go through or whatever. And it kind of just dawned on me, and it was like, okay. One thing that I used to tell my female friends when I was in college is like, if you got a house or a place to stay, you got a car, and you got a job, you shouldn't be dating a guy that's not bringing at least two of them things to the table. And what I see a lot of times is that women seem to be okay dealing with a mediocre type of guy, right? So that led me to the topic, ladies, it's your fault, right? Because if you stop dealing with these mediocre type men that are bringing less to the table than what they should be, then a better quality of man will be able to start evolving, because they're gonna have to step their game up to be able to deal with you. And it's not about the money. It's not about the money. And I'm so glad that we have Mr. Mark here, because he's dealing with the whole dating stuff, and Miss Corey here, who can give us the female perspective on what I'm talking about. Because this is not about the money, who makes more. This is just about being on equal footing and being able to bring stuff to the table that you already have as a female, and then dealing with a guy who doesn't. So that's kind of where the topic is going to go. But let's get some feedback, and you guys kind of give me your perspective on what we're talking about here.
Okay, all right. So before I jump on and start my mouth again, Mark, what you have, sir?
Well, here's the thing. I think one of the most profound things I've ever heard is when it comes to women and accepting, as he said, mediocrity. All right, which is the greatest threat to women is loneliness. That's the greatest threat, right?
Wait. Say that again.
The greatest threat to women is loneliness. Okay. And the reason why I want to start there is because a lot of times, due to women being lonely, sometimes we in defense to women, I'm not a woman, but I identified definitely that women kind of overlook the things that they need, you know, even through dating, right? Sometimes loneliness can be like a shield, right? It doesn't allow you to see those things, those flags, as they say, right? So I think that it starts, as you say, the mediocre man. It starts to understand that women have to definitely learn how to walk in their greatness first. Because I'm about solutions. I know the problem, right? I know the problem. He's exactly right. Women allow men to get away with certain things, but we have to figure out why. Why is that, right? And so, and so, I would probably say that due to the fact that no one wants to die alone. And I know that's very important for women, because one of the things I hear as a man out in the dating scene is, hey, you need to find someone before you get old and you die lonely. And I always say, I'm not afraid to die alone, right? As a man, that's not a fear of mine. So because I don't have that fear, I can see things beyond what's in front of me, right? And so if women would understand how to remove that and understand that when you're in front of a person, the mediocrity that he spoke about will show itself, right? It will definitely show itself. It will allow you to see the mediocrity. It will allow you to unveil the things that you would like, you would like, especially in the dating thing. And I'm gonna end with this. There is a process. I always say this: 3 steps. It's dating, courting, and then marriage. Right? Those are the 3 steps. Right. Once you understand there are levels to this thing, as they say, those are tools you can use in order to slow down, figure out what you need, and then the mediocre guy, 9 times out of 10, you definitely gonna find success at that. So I'm just gonna start there. What's the whole solution?
Okay, Miss Corey, you had anything at this point?
Man, I'm over here taking notes, writing stuff down. Okay. You said a couple things. Initially, it was talking about what I translated was like a loneliness allows acceptance of mediocrity. Mediocrity. Is that the word? Mediocrity? Anyway. The other one was why do women allow men to get away with certain things? Okay. Can I just answer that last one?
Please do.
I have a theory, but I'll hit you with that later. But you said you weren't afraid of dying alone, and I get it. I understand. But there's a stigma attached to women who are single for too long. I don't know if you guys remember, but maybe a couple years ago, there was some type of social event and people were talking about relationship, and this guy stood up and said, my daddy said if a woman's over 35 and she doesn't have any kids and she's never married, something wrong with her.
Yeah, I saw that.
You go to church, you go to school, anywhere, anytime you see people, they're asking you, oh, you got a man, you married, you got kids? I've had students in the past. Hey, Miss B, how you doing? You got kids yet? What? But there is pressure and a stigma attached to women who are single. So if we take that and we bring that into loneliness, it can take you all types of places. But I also will say that I've been in this situation where I was very lonely and I dated somebody I should not have been. But I knew very well he was not the guy. I knew very well I had no business being with him. We weren't on the same level. He couldn't afford me. Even though he had a job, there were things he. When I say afford me, I'm emotional, that type of stuff.
Right.
There's no way. So it's not like, for those who do that, it's not like they don't know. It's not like they don't know that guy is not for them. Also, last one I want to hit you with. Do you remember the actor from Luke Cage? I don't know his real name. I'm not good with actor names. Do you remember him?
Michael something.
Okay. He's married to a white woman. No crime in that. Love who you love. But he said he couldn't get a black woman because he didn't have a job and he wanted to be an actor. But he got with a woman when he had no job. He had nothing. Basically, she had to provide for him. And look at where he is and look at where she is because of where he is. So I think sometimes we got to qualify undesirables in general, whether you have or don't have. So I just want to throw those things out there.
Okay. Ooh, y'all, yeah. In the chat. Yeah, they said we came up with gun smoking. Good smoking. I gotta let y'all know, Restream is not telling me who is actually making comments. So when y'all see me going back and forth, I'm trying to make sure I have names because I want to be able to address everybody as best possible. Let's see. So I'm going over here to Old Faithful, the iPhone right here. Q, hey, Miss Q Williams. Y'all, Q is one of our babies. When I say one of our babies, she is one of our faithful young, all of about 20. Thank you. What you 29? 29. She about 29, but she spit some little knowledge for her age. I'm gonna tell y'all. So Q said, I definitely see how we can be the problem as far as society and the way we as women accept certain things. However, men do the same. Men are usually the ones asking, well, what are you looking for? But I feel like it goes both ways. Let's normalize all of us holding each other to a higher standard, period. Huh. Huh.
Can I say something about this? Let me kind of like address that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say this. Um, so there's two sides to this. I definitely agree that we both. But I think that in order for us to actually find solutions, we have to, before we kind of move around and jump around, we have to. This conversation is more so about how women can. It's your fault,
Right.
women.
Right.
So I guess I respect the comment, but I think tonight is more focused on what women can do so we can get past this. And at some point during the conversation, I'm sure we'll definitely address the men. I just want to kind of
Right.
throw that out
Right.
because what happens is, and I hate to say this, but I'm very brash but honest. Um, and I'm gonna say this: I love y'all. Sometimes I bring the belt out, but when the belt comes out, it's out of love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I will say sometimes women are similar to children. This is what I mean. You're similar to the children when how when you try to give your child medicine, right? Instead of just giving him the medicine, you got to hide the medicine in the
Mm-hmm.
food, right? So this medicine that we're giving, um, the food, just look at the actual nourishing it will give you, but there is going to be some medicine in there. So we have to swallow the medicine and understand that this medicine is going to be good for you. That's all I want to say.
Got you. And yeah, and as you were talking, she's making a comment. She said, "Got you." She said, "It's our turn to listen. I feel you." Okay.
I
Yep.
appreciate you, sis. I
Yep.
love you.
Yep. And I'm glad you said that because me and Cortland kind of touched on this when we were kind of talking a little bit. That someone is going to kind of jump the other way, but that's all right. That's
Right.
all right. We can reel it
Right.
back because, like you said, the whole focus and goal is to find out how to make adjustments to fix this type of situation. That's what we're trying to do. So thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Because I mean, the purpose is we want to be able to invoke thought process. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
To be able to have proper conversations. But if it's always, well, he did this, no, she did that,
Right.
then you can't really get anywhere because your voices are just, trying to have a combat right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, we do have to be able to get to a point to where we can listen to one another to be able to have healthy conversations, to be able to fix some of the issues that are going on just within our own ethnic group. You know what I mean? So as between male and female. But one of the things that uh Mark and Corey were talking about when they were talking about the why women accept some of these things, a lot of the things that I have seen or that I've heard just in having these conversations are there's a need that is being filled, right? So there's
Mm-hmm.
a need that this guy feels for them, even though he's not able to measure up in other places. So for women, it's like, oh, I just need this need, or Mark said loneliness, right? So, or I just need this need of I'm tired of doing it by myself, or this need of I just want somebody to just make me feel like a princess, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like these needs. So it's like all of, or this new one, I need that masculine energy, right? Because a brother could put on a masculine face and be soft as Charmin's on the inside. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like that 6 months to a year facade, that mask is gonna fall away, and then you're gonna realize who he is. But by the time you realize who he is, you already fell in love. So now it's kind of hard. So like my question is, why why are you guys accepting this behavior when this guy is only giving, like, he's filling that hole for you, but you're looking at the rest of it and you're complaining to your girlfriends like, he don't got this, he don't do this, he, like, what is he doing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say to that, I have to speak on behalf of the unlonely, if that makes it make sense. I personally have never been in a position where I was lonely or I was so lonely that I allowed just anybody to come my way to fill that void. And I'm gonna tell you how that personally came about for me. One thing I always say, and this is my moment. This is my moment. I always say this every time we get on. I do my bell. I say I gotta get a bell to ring because I'm like ding 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 ding. Counseling in some form or fashion, because what happens is, as a woman, let's start as a girl. The things that we need, say we have a father who is either absent or a father who's either there, or that father, whatever he does, because we live what we learn. So what we see being received and accepted is what we tend to receive and what we tend to accept as we get older and we go into this dating game thing. And then we go into situations where we feel like that's the right way and that's what to accept and that's what to do, right? And then we get older and we start trying to make these decisions for ourselves, and we're choosing men. I had to honestly, y'all, I had to sit back and realize the men that I was choosing in my life was my daddy. I'm choosing men like the man that I knew. And the man that I knew, now that I'm grown, and he passed last month, and with all due respect to him, that joker was something else. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I had to fall back, and for different reasons, I had to get on somebody's couch. And I had to realize why I was making the choices and decisions that I was making, whether it was trauma from other situations in life, or him, or just other avenues that brought it in. So when I come back, I'm circling back to the loneliness part. I never really was at the point of loneliness where I just accepted anybody, because I started realizing who I was. I started realizing what I was and what I brought and what I represented. So that put me in a different light. It put me in a different situation of how I moved and how I processed or whatever. I have this kind of this thing with my girls, right? And my sister used to tell me all the time, "Hey, Donna, you don't give a brother a chance. That brother messed up one time, and it's like he gone, and he gone." And in so many ways, it was helpful, but it was harmful too. Because I learned how to self-sustain, and I learned how to grind and go out there and get it and build. And then so I'm looking at this man like, okay, why are you here outside of some things I may need you to do? So the harmful part, so the loneliness on the side of the woman, of the loneliness, and I do agree, women do tend to allow things to fill that void. I call them seat fillers. When you got something you want to do and you want to go out, or you invited to a wedding, you don't want to go by yourself, you need that seat filler. So you start accepting that dude, or you start looking and just like, okay, well, this is temporary, and this is it, and this is that. What's Corey? I want y'all to jump in on that. I want y'all to jump in. Anybody jump in on that? We got some comments coming. I don't want to miss too many. Uh,
So
What? Go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, I think you're right. I think that uh, our father figure dictates our relationships in general with men, with God, everything. I think that our relationships with our fathers are very important. And it's funny, I noticed the same thing when I was dating. I'm like, this dude act like my dad? What in the world? It's just, and depending on how me and my father were at the time, I'm like, I don't like you anymore. Or, oh, okay. But yeah, it dictates what I'm looking for in a man. Um, you said a lot. It's good stuff, Donna.
yeah.
Yeah. I do think there's a difference. And women that have fathers in their life, positive role model
Right.
fathers in their life, in comparison to women that don't. One of the things I heard Donna say that's very important is, and men and women, is knowledge of self, right? Understanding what it is that you, what your worth is, right? We don't. The moment you need someone to identify what your worth is, it is a path to destruction,
Yeah.
right? It's a path of, where you're gonna miss, what it is that you may need, the which is the biggest thing, which is protection, right? um, you're not going to be able to see the things that are going to bring worth, such as good men, because again, with the loneliness and with everything else that comes along with that, it also, conjures up the spirit I call it, some people call it masculinity. I call it simulated masculinity, because I don't believe women can be masculine,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's simulated, meaning that it's similar to what they think men react, which is with aggression, when in actuality that's not, the why is not in you. Right? The
Mm-hmm.
why is not in you, right? So it's definitely simulated. So I would definitely say knowledge of self is definitely step one. Understanding who you are, understanding that you are a nourisher of this earth, you are a caregiver, but you got to be able to understand who you are.
Right. Right. Right.
yeah,
Oh,
I
go ahead.
wanna touch on the seat filler thing real quick and why seat fillers are so dangerous. Because
Mm,
Corey said something earlier where she said she was dealing with this guy she knew she had no business dealing with, but he filled a need for her that particular moment. So he
yep.
was essentially, as DJ said, he was a seat filler.
Filler.
Seat fillers are so dangerous is because they can scar you emotionally, they can scar you mentally, sometimes they can scar you physically, even spiritually. So what happens is now you're blinded by that and possibly jaded, to the fact of what a successful, good, or promising relationship might look like. So when you're presented this by a good man or a good guy and he comes to you and he's like, hey, and he presents these qualities, you're automatically hitting them with the Heisman. And for those that don't know what that is, you're basically pushing them away with a good fast stiff arm. You know what I'm saying?
It's still
Because you can't, yeah, you cannot see him or recognize his potential and what he has because you allowed seat fillers to come into your life who should have never been in your life in the first place. And then the other problem with seat fillers is sometimes you can say, hey, I just want to go to the movies and enjoy myself and have a good time. This guy likes you. You know that. You have no intention for him but to go to the movies. Next thing you know, you in a 3 year long relationship with his brother. And you're wondering, how did I get here? You know what I'm saying? Because you allowed a
mm-hmm.
seat filler. I call it giving your energy to the wrong person that don't deserve it.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of like, I think that that's why I think that that's so dangerous that we don't go off of those things like, oh man, I just need somebody to feel this, or I need somebody. I think Mark said it earlier when he was talking about, when he kind of hit on the loneliness, a portion of it when he was talking about, and I'll bring it back to this and then I'll let it go because we have a trillion comments. I'll let it go. Like, we at some point we have to be mentally and emotionally strong enough to say, I'm not settling for that. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna settle for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I can do, and I know I deserve better than what this joker is trying to give me.
Yeah, I'm reading some of these comments. I'm trying to get y'all in. I'm gonna read this one. I'm not sure who it came. I think this is John. John said, I think masculinity in society has been taken away from men. Women have been told they are just as strong as men and deserve everything men get and have. Women are equal. However, a lot of women nowadays expect a man to be there financially and do all the typical male roles, but still want to be the king. Except men and women have equal roles, traditional are and new. Words are weapons, and when certain words are put into play when describing relationships, they insult the partner, even when not intended. I kind of debated on reading that one.
That's a great one
It
to read.
is. It is. It's definitely a great one to read. And the only reason I debated, I had to really kind of get into it. I kind of skimmed it, John, so forgive me. But it was a great one to read. Anybody want to have a take on that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just me, but I'm not buying it. Right? I'm gonna be honest with you, because there are enough women. I have this thing called some but not all. Right?
Some but all.
Right? There's some and not all. Right? There's a vast majority of women. Again, it goes back to the simulated masculinity, right? So let's just say, for instance, I'm at the grocery store, right? And I see a woman with a certain disposition that she looks aggressive, etc. The things that men say they see, right? For me, that's an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to me, because to me, I know that most independent, quote unquote, masculine women don't want to be in that role.
Say that.
Got to keep that in our mind as men. They don't want to be in that role. So now that I know that, I'm talking about me, I don't know about anybody else. When I see that, it's the number one thing that women love, and we all know that as men, is to make her laugh. That's the biggest icebreaker that you can get. Now, for whatever reason, after a couple of attempts, if she ain't laughing and she turning away and she doing all this, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Right? But
Stone cold.
When you first meet a woman, exactly. When you first meet women, they're gonna be they're single, they got a job, they work 12 hours a day, they have children by themselves. And we all know, even if you are married or not, you know, paying bills is just, I don't give a damn how much money you make, right? Paying the bills is short. Even if they on auto pay, because you still got to peek and make sure all of them are paid, right? So that's a whole other thing, right? So once you put all of this together, guess what? They're going to reflect masculinity or simulated masculinity. So me, for a man, yes, there are some women that do, but there's not enough. I just think that, just for a second, I just think that men aren't equipped enough to know how to peel a woman off the ceiling, right? So I know that there are women that's like that, but guess what? I don't run across them. You know why? Because my mind and my energy does not allow me to attract those type of women, right? So if you're attracting those type of women, man, guess what? You might want to look in your mirror and see what it is that you're doing from within to attract those type of women. So that's how I tackle that.
Yeah, for me, and that, honestly, DJ knows this. I try not to get into the whole masculine and feminine thing, honestly, because I feel like those are just the buzzwords that the internet is throwing around to provoke argumentative conversations, if I'm being honest with you.
Absolutely.
Right? I feel like, hey, when you pay bills as an adult, it's adulting. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got responsibilities. That's what you're supposed to do. And look, no slight, no shade when I say this, but if you have kids, which means 8 times out of 10, you chose to lay down with somebody to get these kids, right? You can't get upset when now you are paying more bills than you really want to be paying because you allowed yourself to get in this position, right? So now I'm not gonna move on from that without saying the man needs to step up in that area if he's the father of those kids. He definitely needs to step up in that area. But that goes back to the mediocre men, right? So, but let me I feel like let me piggyback off that real quick, because I feel like it helps me segue right into something else, because going back to the mediocre man and talking about if you have your own place, if you have your own car, you have your own job, what does that signify? It signifies stability, it signifies comfort, it signifies protection, and that you're able to lead in some format. So when I say those things, why would you want to deal with a man that does not have stability, to the fact that he's not stable himself? Like he's hopping from couch to couch to couch and then your bed. Right? Where are we doing that at? Or he can't lead himself enough to be stable in a job, to go get a job and have a job that, you know, he's gonna work. I understand, like, I want to move on to a better job, but you know, there's some guys that every other week they got a new job. You know what I'm saying? And they call it hustling, right? To me, there's a difference between hustling and grinding. Hustling, you just always trying to go get something to make some paper. Grinding, I don't care if I gotta eat ramen noodles, I'm gonna make whatever this is work. You know, and there's a difference there, right? So it's like if you come into a woman or a lady, ladies, you got to ask yourself. That's why I say it's not really about the money, because in this day and age, 9 times out of 10, especially with Black women, y'all are gonna make more money than we as men do. That's factual. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's why I say, you know, sometimes we can't get caught up in the dollars and signs. A man can still be a man and not make more money than you. He can still be a man by showing up every day, because you're gonna feel protected, feel comfortable, you're gonna feel, you know what I'm saying? And you're gonna feel like, okay, I can trust this man with the way that we are moving forward. So do you want a tugboat, which is gonna come through and say, if you a ship and you out there in the sea and you stranded, a tugboat is this small, a ship is this big, but a tugboat can move that ship to safety to where it needs to be? Or do you want a man who's gonna be an anchor, who's just gonna drop and keep you in one position, one place, who might sometimes you might reel him back up into the ship, clean him off, and make sure he's good to go, and then you move maybe 3 feet, and then he drops right back down in and keeps you in in one singular position. What kind of man do you want? That's the question that I'm asking.
John?
I wanted to say one thing too, just kind of addressing that part, just real quick. So, and Donna, you know, okay, so just a little bit more about my experience. I was on an actual reality show about a couple of years ago, right? So it was a dating show, right? Well, dated a matchmaker there. So, and some of the women that were actually that were being matched, the intake was about 30 to 40,000 just for a matchmaker to match them up with people within their similar demographic. So one of the things I learned, the biggest thing is that's why I say what I said earlier, because even the women that I know that I ran across during that particular stage, they were every single one of them. I don't care how much they made, right? One of the most common things I heard I heard them say was, "Hey, I'm doing it, but I need help, right? I need help." So they may come off one way, but internally they're saying, "I need help." And back to, you know, the money, I can definitely agree when you say money isn't. I think women are more so looking for potential, right? They're looking for potential more than money, right? They got the money, and they want to women are nourishers. They're going to nourish you as much as possible, even if they give you a plug. My success in whatever I've done, honestly, the last 10 years have been because of a woman, right? So that's why I value women. That's why it's very, very important for me to come across a certain type of woman, which excludes a lot of women right now at this point, but it's okay. Yeah. But I will say that they are ready to nourish. They are. We have to learn how to tone it, help them get back to a place to just listen. And then also understand that they want to help, but the mediocre man, listen, when you get a woman like that, man, you better pick that ball up and run it, treat her right. She's supposed to be treated, because she's going to make you and she's going to enhance you to be even a greater man. That's just my opinion.
Can I jump in? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got it, Corey.
Mark, earlier you were talking about women who men may say, oh, she looks aggressive. And I just want to address that. Anybody ever heard of RBF?
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of it?
Real bad food. What's that?
Yeah, I was about to ask myself, what is it?
So I learned about this a few years ago. Resting bitch face. So you know how you hear people say, smile. And you're like, what are you talking about? Who are you? Because we had this face on. Some people look at women and say, oh, she looks mean. I don't want to say anything to her. It's because there's a lot on our minds. As a single woman moving through the world, when I go anywhere, I have to consider, where am I parking? Am I too far? What's the atmosphere going to be there? I got to be my own coach, bodyguard, lookout. I got to be everything for me by myself.
Do I put it in the small of the back, or do I put it on the right side?
Right. And then on top of all those other things you have to worry about around you, you already, just like a regular person, you got things on your mind. I'm a teacher, so I'm always thinking about lessons and things I got to do for tomorrow and deadlines. There's a lot on my mind, so I may not be smiling when I'm walking through the supermarket trying to find this turkey bacon, right? But I will say, and you said something I thought was very poignant. You said you don't attract that type of woman. I don't think that's the case. What I think is whatever you give off can disarm. I'm telling you now, I can have some very interesting days, but when the right man walks down the aisle, excuse me, miss. Oh, hello. Yeah, you know, right. It's a whole different energy he's going to get. Whole different energy, right? And I think that factors into it. Sometimes it's not that we are upset or angry. We just have stuff on our mind. And yes, you got all those bills, and you're right. You're paying all the bills yourself. Maybe you have kids. Maybe there's just a lot to think about. And even more, if you have children with you, that's another layer. You're now protecting them, and you got to protect you. There's just a lot on our minds in general. I think that was it. Oh, somebody else in the chat said something about people should be honest about what they want. I feel like now a lot of relationships, people are encouraging this kind of transactional relationship. What can you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? What do you have? What do I? That sounds like a business deal. That doesn't sound like a relationship, right? But I will say, when you are honest with people, you tend to get what you want, and you may not get it every time. So you may choose to go another way. For example, this summer, I really wanted to go to an open mic night in Columbia, Maryland. And I didn't want to go by myself. It was going to be late when I left. It's dark when I get home. It's going to be dark. The parking lot is not well lit. These are all things I got to think about as a single woman moving through the world. So I have this neighbor, and he's fine. And I said to him, I said,
wait a minute, he what, girl?
He fine.
Okay.
Can you spell that, please? Can you spell that?
And I introduced myself to him one day, and I don't introduce myself to people. I'm one of those people, you got to say something to me first, because I don't know what to say. I always say the wrong thing. And I said, hello, sir, how are you? Ultimately, he was receptive. He smiled. And I said, this is going to sound crazy, but I wanted to know if you'd accompany me to an open mic night. I really just don't want to go by myself. And I figure you live in the same building. So if you do something weird to me, I know where you live. And he said, that sounds fair. Best time I ever had. I couldn't just take anybody with me, because I learned a long time ago from dating the wrong person because I felt like I was alone for too long. I can't just be out with anybody. So I chose that guy. He accompanied me. I really wanted protection. And I told him that I want to feel safe. I want to feel protected. But he also looked the part. And I had a great time. So I think that's a good example of asking someone for what you want and saying, this is all that I want from you.
Just being
right.
honest. Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you, Mark, for saying that, and just wanted to share that a little bit.
So I want to back up just a touch. Because I still want to focus on ladies. It's your fault, right? So backing up to a touch of saying that we want to get an understanding of why this type of thing happens, because like Mark was saying earlier, the point and the purpose is to be able to move on in a better way, paraphrasing, to move on in a better way, healthy relationships. So I think and I feel, and from my own personal experience, because y'all know I don't have a problem with being transparent, because again, something I'm thinking or I've done, somebody else might be thinking, going through, or whatever. So my last relationship, um, I titled that, in a sense, he came to me in a way. My thought about him now is like a Build-A-Bear. And I know we've thought about the Build-A-Bear. We've heard the Build-A-Bear before, but my concept may be a little bit different. So when this brother came to me, we were friends. We had a friendship for a very long time. So the parts of each other that we saw were more of a friendship level, whatever, right? We made a decision to go into the relationship. Now, for me, and I was talking to Cortland about this earlier, I don't, my expectation for the man that I'm going to be with is for him to not necessarily bring to the table exactly what I'm bringing when we're talking about a financial component, but all the other components. My expectations is to have that, and not that he's going to do it the way I do it, and vice versa. But there's some things that I need, right? So in this relationship, this brother was checking off all the boxes, all the things that I was looking for. When I say all, of course, it's not in totality, but all the boxes. And in the process of doing these things, I'm looking at him like, now I see potential. That word potential. I see potential because he's an entrepreneur, as I am. And I know how it is to be slow, business to be in a slow season, and then to be fast season and up, and things are moving and things are shaking or whatever. So I saw potential. I looked at the potential. I walked into that relationship on potential. And I think a lot of women walk into relationships on potential. They're looking for what they need, and they feel like this brother can bring it, even if he's not showing it necessarily day one. But there are things about him that says, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to give him a chance. Now that relationship turned out to be a situation, as you, Corey, that I shouldn't have been in. And I learned those things as time went on. And this is where that part comes in, as far as the lonely thought process and thinking about thank you, Courtney, and thinking about what happens if this relationship ends. I'm by myself again, and it's starting over, and this and that, right? But ladies, this is my plug to us, to y'all. You have to understand and know your worth. You have to know when to walk away from a situation, even though you've gotten into it. I always feel like and say and see, it's never too late to start over, to readjust, realign, and do this thing the right way. Never, ever, ever feel like you have to be stuck. Because I've been with this brother a year. I've been with this brother 5 years. And I've been with this brother. And nothing has changed. And nothing is working. And nothing is producing. You have to get to a point where you love yourself so freaking much. It does not matter. It does not matter. So that relationship ended because I realized the tendencies of this man were not, it seemed like everything that he was about was not building and was not producing. It was that flat line. Like, this is happening. I'm doing this, but he's staying like this. So I'm talking on the part of ladies, it's your fault. It's ladies, it's your fault. And the point of not feeling like you're stuck in a relationship with a man that you know you should not be with for so many different reasons. So many different reasons. When we talk finances, I'm going to be honest with y'all. There are very few brothers that I come across that make the money that I make. I thank God for my situation. I thank God for my experience in life. I thank him for where he has me in a financial place and everything else. And it balances for me. So it's not the mediocre brother that I look at and not the one that I attract. But I have to look at this brother and say, I've also had to learn, side note, don't get stuck in potential. You can't look at this man and say he has potential, but understanding that potential, you got to see something happening with that potential. I said, I would never, ever in my life again deal with a man who has a plan. And when I say that, that's a period. But this is the second sentence to that. It has to be a working plan. If this brother does not have a working plan, sis, because my experience in life and the things that are available to me may not be available to him, but at the same time, what are you doing to make whatever you're doing work? What are you doing to make whatever you're doing help me to feel secure, safe, and know that regardless of what's happening in life, I'm going to be okay with you. That's what we need. And when we don't do that, ladies, we find ourselves in a position we're hurting. If I gotta talk about, hey, babe, if I
it's gonna sashay up in here.
If I have to talk to my girls about my man, what he not doing and what he this and that, that's my cue right there. I don't need to be with him. I don't need to be with him. Brothers, you have to have a working plan. And I don't care if you're coming up short in one direction, make up for it in another direction. Make it happen and make her see and understand and know she's in the right place. Because at the end of the day, ladies, it is our fault. It's our fault if we let that brother sleep on our couch, knowing that he gonna move to another couch, and then he back on our couch, and then he not bringing nothing. I don't need your money, but I damn sure will take your money.
I really want to go off the Build-A-Bear situation because Corey touched on that earlier with Michael Collier, the Luke Cage guy, in a sense. But I think you have to look at what is his track record. You know what I'm saying? What is his track record? What does his stability look like? Like, what does his leadership look like? Is he comfortable where he's at, or is he trying to?
I hear you, Leon. Sorry.
Okay. Is he trying to move to another level? So going back to the Build-A-Bear thing, right? This young lady saw with Michael Collier that this brother has stability, even though he may not have a lot of money, but he has stability because this brother is working hard to try to become what he wants to become. That's what she saw in him. She was able to see that, right? But sometimes I think, like DJ was saying, you get caught up in the potential of somebody who don't have nothing. You get caught up in the potential of somebody who is selling you a hope and a dream. You get caught up in the potential of somebody, for lack of a better words, appreciate you, because I still spelled it wrong. Somebody that don't have a pot to piss in. You know what I'm saying? But they always want to come use your bathroom, right? That's not potential. That's not potential. That is what we like to call, ladies and gentlemen. That is a leech. So and I also feel like a Build-A-Bear is fine when we in our 20s. Well, maybe even to around 35. But when we get to the age of 35, we shouldn't be building nobody.
Hold on now. It depends on what you're doing in your 20s. You're 35.
I'm gonna give a slight pushback on that. The only reason why I say is that
Well,
Just
well,
like not a whole lot, because you
let,
go
let,
ahead, go ahead.
let me finish the thought real quick. Because only reason I say that is because, you know what I'm saying, in your by the time you're 35, you should already kind of know what it is that you're trying to do in life and how you're trying to move, and you have a plan to go get it, or you either have it already. Because when I'm dealing with women and they're 35 and older, like we discussed earlier, they already got lives, they already got kids, they already got careers, and they got everything, and they may even have a house. So if I come to them and I don't have my stuff together, what did I do with the last 15 years of my adulthood? So that's all I'm saying. But go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I guess I'll say, shit happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Shit happens, right? I mean, even at 50, shit happens,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there may be a part where now I don't believe that you should be at a negative deficit, but you can't feed
Right.
your own self. Now,
Right.
I'm not. I'll definitely say that, but I will say in the midst of sometimes dating, sometimes shit happens. Now, so it's okay. So to avoid this path to self destruction, I would probably say to women, one thing I do know about men, and have another man on the panel, is that if we are down, or if it looks like we are at a point where you may feel that we may not, for whatever reason, one thing about women are, you guys inspire men, right? You guys are inspiration, because if it weren't for uh, uh, women, we would be riding around with Hondas and basketball shorts, right? 9 times out of 10, what happens, men, the only thing that we argue about is two things: money and women. That's it. We'll kill another man over
Mm-hmm.
woman, right? In our
Mm-hmm.
money. But the money is a byproduct of saying that we will be able to provide for women. So it's still deeply rooted in women, right? Other than that, men get along,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this right here. I'm gonna land it with this. The best way to identify potential and BS is, one thing about men: if we like you and we really try, we're gonna let you in on what we're
Yeah.
doing,
Right.
right? We're gonna say, we're gonna say, hey baby, I have plans to open a car wash, right? We got plans to open a car wash, right? Baby, just the other day I just saw this lot, right? I talked to this guy and blah 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 blah. Boom, got the lot. Hey baby, I just got these pressure washers of so and so. We're gonna guide you through the steps in order for us to get to where we need to get
Right.
to. That's the biggest indicator. If it's BS, because if it's a man with a dream, guess what? He's sleeping, right? When when you're dreaming, you're asleep, right? So at some point, you got to wake up and put the towards that. I just want to say that.
Yeah. I like that. Man
Yeah.
with a dream be sleeping.
Yeah. I totally agree with what you just said, Mark. And just to kind of add something to it, you said that if a brother's trying to come to you and he's like, "Hey, I got a car wash that I'm trying to build." And let's just say he is over the age of 35. I'm just prefacing this for some people. Just say he is over
Right.
the age of 35 and he's coming to you. He's like, "Hey, I'm trying to build a car wash." Hey, that is cool, but how else are you supporting yourself? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what else is going
Mhm.
on in the
Right.
background that the car wash is not the only thing that you have? That
Right.
you waiting for your first car to show up so you get some money in your pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You waiting on,
Right.
like, no, like, yeah, you
A
can build
working
that, and
plan.
if you're with the right woman, like Mark was just saying, she gonna put you in fast forward. You know what I'm saying? Because what you would have done
Right.
in a year, she gonna help you do in 6 months, maybe 3 months, maybe 1 month, and I'm gonna pivot it. I'm gonna switch it. Men, it's our fault because you know why? Because we'll get with that woman that has a plan to get us to where we need to get to, and we don't want to listen. We don't want to listen.
Boy.
We don't want to listen. I can
Right.
do it myself. I've been doing this for forever. I'm the man in this situation.
Mm.
Okay, I'm gonna let you do
Mm.
you.
Right.
And then a year from now, we dropping the ball and we working at McDonald's flipping burgers because we didn't listen to her.
Hey, can I say one
Yeah.
thing? That's fine.
Yeah.
I got to add on to what he just
Yeah.
said. Right. Okay. I need y'all to, for a moment, right? Get out your feelings, man. Everybody just take a moment just to listen. Through conception, the person that has given us the more game is a woman. She's in your womb. She's gonna give you what's going on in the outside world through her emotions and everything. That's game. When you get ready to go to elementary school, right? It's your mama. She gonna get you clothes, get you straight. First day of school, mama got me right. When you're in high school, guess what? Your girlfriend is gonna make sure you get your work, right? The girlfriend always do the work. Now, y'all know your girlfriend. You make sure your boy, because your homeboy's gonna laugh at you. And he gonna make you fail, right? He gonna make you fail. You ain't even gonna get out of high school, college, same thing. So why not adopt that same mentality as an adult, right? Because guess what? She has given you game up to the point to conception to your adult. Why not find you a woman that's balanced? Okay, I ain't talking about
keyword. Keyword.
Right. Right. I'm talking about that's balance, that's going to invest in you. You better listen because your homeboys ain't gonna get you.
I have this thing that I tell my nieces, and I just speak to ladies, women. Do y'all understand we have superpowers? I tell my nieces all the time, girl, use your powers for good. Because let me tell you something about the brothers, like they just said, and it's coming from them. They saying it, but as a woman, we can experience this. Use your powers for good, because that brother will bust through hell just for you.
Say that.
Just for
Juggernaut.
You. What'd you say, Cortland?
Juggernaut. If you seen the movie X-Men, he was breaking through walls trying to catch Kitty Pryde.
Just for you. Because this is the thing. We talk about balance. John said it earlier in the comment, and I apologize, y'all. We're not hitting all the comments. We see them, and everybody is able to read. We're all able to see the same thing. But John kind of touched on it earlier. When we're supporting one another, when we're not worried about what all of this is going on, Cortland and I were talking about yesterday, there's so much availability out there, technically, because you can swipe left, you can swipe right. If this don't look right to you, you can move on to this. If this don't look right to you, you can move on to that. When we get into a position where we are supporting one another, and we are showing our faith and trust in each other, girl, let that man come to you with $5, and you show him enough support, and you show him enough that you trust in his strength, his working plan. Don't get caught up. I said working plan. And you show him that you, babe, ooh, man, you got pressure washers today for the car wash? Oh, man, you one car? Boy, you got one car today? The second car, let me know when the second car comes, because I want to be there. Girl, use your powers for good. Build that man. And there is nothing he will not do. And if he don't have it, there's nothing he will not do in a legal sense to make sure you have what you need. So, sis, it's our fault. It's our fault if this brother walks around and does nothing. It is our fault if this brother excels to the highest of heights. It is our fault. Because now he said it, a positive woman, a balanced woman. So please don't start typing in the chat if y'all missed at the beginning. Well, this woman, what if she ain't this? And we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the balanced woman. We're talking about the man that wants something and wants to build. We're not talking about the build-a-bear. We're not talking about the couch hopper. It's not what we're talking about. So if we want to do this thing right and we want to build these healthy, growing relationships, water the grass that's in your yard.
Let me say one thing real quick.
Uh-huh.
Ladies, if you do not accept just anything, you will not fall for everything.
That's right. That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? And then fellas, I got we can't get away without coming at y'all neck. We got to do better. We have to do better as men. We have to step our game up. We have to give women a better caliber of men to choose from. You know what I'm saying? We can't just be mediocre. We can't just be comfortable where we at. We can't just be like, oh, well, you know what? If she gonna allow me to do this, I might as well just do it anyway. No, no. We have to bring a product to women, you know what I'm saying, and that they're gonna be able to look at and be like, you know what, I, hey, you know, I can roll with this. I can roll with this. Whether we are where we want to be at in life, or we're on the path to be where we're gonna be at in life, we gotta stop with the bull crap, and we gotta really bring and show these women that we mean business and that we are about something, and we just not trying to get a quick NLA. I beat myself. That was a Walmart.
Right. Right, and then just to kind of add, like I think, and it's going back to earlier what we said before, as far as understanding knowledge of self. One of the most powerful articles I've read few days ago, and even early today, there was an article like in 2014, I believe. Um, there was a group of women. There was a lot of corruption that was going on in Ukraine, right? So all the women, they decided to hold back their sexual favors, right? All the corruption at that time was because the women wouldn't satisfy the men. They cleaned it up. Also, 2012 in Liberia, there was a war. I'm talking about 1,000-year war. So the women of that particular tribe or whatnot, they there was this tired of the war, kids dying, etc. So each women on both sides decided, hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hold back sexual favors until these men clean it up. Guess what?
Yeah.
The war ended. So I'm gonna say this:
Power.
those women knew who they were, right? One thing about women that we have to, I'm gonna say this for women: understand that your intuition and your discernment is 10 times stronger than anything that walks this earth, especially a melanated woman, right? Okay, that's why it's best to have a balanced woman, so she knows which way, or give you an idea, or help you move to the next level, or enhance you as a man. But going back to my point, understanding that your intuition gets you interested. If it checks out, your discernment keeps you there, right? So you have to be balanced enough in order for those two things to click, so you don't fall into the category of dealing with a guy the mediocre guy, going back to mediocre guy again. Also understanding that loneliness is, you'll never be alone, right? Because you have something more valuable than any species that ever walked the earth, right? Once you realize those two things, you're gonna see through the BS, right? The sense of loneliness is gonna go away, because you know that the man that you desire, you will attract.
Yeah.
So I want to say,
yeah.
And yes, use your power for good. Somebody said use your power for good. I had to read that off.
That was me.
Oh, that's you. Okay, well, dang, Donna, you're right. Donna said use your power for good. And one more, I hate doing this, but I want to say something, because somebody said something earlier, and I kind of made a middle note. They said relationships are transactional. It seems these days. Absolutely. Transact, and there's nothing wrong with
That's right.
Right. If you understand what the term of transaction means, that means we both are in action together in order to for a cause or whatever. Everything is transaction. You treat me right, I treat you right. Women are a reflection of men, right? Typically, when a woman goes sideways, it's due to her circumstances. Right. In most cases, right? So the transaction is, I have to give you blah, and you have to give me da. You see what I'm saying? So right, and there's nothing wrong with it being transactional, right? And being married, and I'm gonna say this, and there might people, I don't want to open the door up, and you know what? Never mind. Transactions are good in relationships, so there's nothing wrong with transactions.
That's right. You should. You should. You should. You should.
I wish
No,
you
I'll
could
do
see
that.
it.
I know.
No, because somebody, someone mentioned about business. Marriage is
Oh,
business.
that was me. So I was talking about,
Right,
you know
marriage.
how you're hearing a lot of conversations about, oh, traditional traditional men, modern women. What do you bring to the table? What can you do? I can you
Right.
clean the house. I get a maid. That is
Right.
a different. Yes, it's transactional, but that has, to me, that's not relationship. That is, I want you on
You're
autopilot.
right.
Like that's what I meant when I was saying transactional.
No, I'm just clarifying that because sometimes when we have an audience looking, I just, to your point, you're absolutely correct, right? But I want to just kind of bring the other side.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because some people it can be skewed as it not being that, because it is about handling your goddamn business. You know what I mean? Or the person to be up out of there. You know what I mean? So everything's conditioned. There's no such thing as unconditional.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. I think that was Mark's closing thought. Corey, you have a closing thought?
No, I think we need a part two. I'm not ready to be done yet. There's so much.
I know.
I gotta. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say earlier, I said I had a theory on why men are allowed to do everything. So here's my theory.
Yeah, come on.
Picture it. And now I'm a historian. Like that's what I went to school for, right? So picture it. You have a whole bunch of things going on, and you have this woman who ends up raising a son by herself. Could be result of war, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She's telling this little boy, all right, it's you and me. You got to be the man of the house. I need you to be my big boy. You're the man of the house. Baby, you're going to have to take out the trash. You got to be a big boy. I got to work and take care of us. You got to take care of trash. Okay. He grows up doing those things his mom tells him to do. Mm-hmm. But the trash is definitely his job. Mom's busy taking care, working. She makes meals, the whole nine. As he gets older, he thinks that he is the man of the house because he's told he's got to be the man because mom needs him to accept some responsibility. And he's going to have to grow up a little bit faster than he typically would because there's the man of the house is no longer there, right? But now when he gets older, he's looking for somebody to mother him like his mom did. He's the man. I'm the man. My mom told me I've been a man since I was 12 years old. I'm a man. I took the trash out. What you mean? I'm a man. He's going to be looking for women like that. He might satisfy the social aspect. You know, he's going to be around you. He's going to spend time. Your love language, man, if it's quality time, he's got you because he can't do anything else. And this is not all. This is just this guy. Him and this woman, since he's grown now, they have a baby. And the child sees this dynamic. Well, dad's the man of the house, and this is all he does. Mom is the woman of the house, and this is all she does. So the girl sees the relationship and is taught, this is how I need to behave. I got to take care of my man. The boy sees, all right, this is how my mom and dad relate. I only have to take the trash out, but I'm still the man. So these people are this family is taught that this is the dynamic between men and women. This guy doesn't have to do so much, but he's still the man. This is what my mom does. So that is a cyclical thing. It's just one of my theories. Just one of them. Just one of them.
That sounds like gender roles.
It could be, but I'm talking about where you have the quote unquote mediocre man. Like he doesn't do much, but he still thinks he's the man. So that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I got it. I got it. Okay. Cortland.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. Sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
I just heard the term love language. There is nothing more important than knowing each other's love languages.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah.
You fine. Yeah. You fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important to a certain degree. Man, These closing statements, that's what these are?
Pretty
'Cause
much.
I don't want to start another debate. Just making sure. Um, but no, I mean, honestly, I think this has been a really good conversation. If I'm being transparent, the way that I saw it in my head when I first brought the topic to you, DJ, was not the way that it turned out. And I think it turned out a lot better because there were just more voices that were able to be added to it and have like the different perspectives on it. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was a beautiful thing. And I think that at the end of the day, each and every one of us, I think we touched on this. The importance of these conversations are to be able to listen and to be able to be like, have some fruit and some food to eat on. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? When we walk away from this, we have something to eat on to be like, okay, you know what? I never really thought about it. I never looked at that. Or like, you know what? Okay. Because I think that a lot of times we just don't hear each other because we're so busy trying to get our point across. Right. So, but I would love to have this conversation again with the flip side. I would love to have this conversation again with the men is your fault. And then we get to shut up and listen.
Okay.
I don't think you know what you're asking for, sir.
Bring it.
Okay. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, usually we do an hour. We are at an hour and 22 minutes. Um,
You good? You good? Because I'm gonna tell you something. Well, sometimes I get into these things, especially my recording ones. I've done 4 or 5
yeah,
hours. So
yeah,
this is one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I try to not to weary the saints because I want them to come back.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it is a
Right.
3-day weekend. I'm just throwing it out there.
It's a 3-day weekend. 3-day weekend. I may be spanning my lives too far when we talking about part two. We may have to throw in a third and fourth Thursday. We talk about part two, but putting that out there, Cortland, I'm glad you said that because that will be our next one. We're gonna be like, men. It's your fault. It's your fault because we want to come. Oh, Cortland, okay, good night.
He was like, I'm out.
Hey, he had his points already. He
I
done. He put
see.
all his bullet
Right,
points.
he got his bullet point. Dang.
It's an inside joke.
Yeah, yeah. That's how family do, you know.
He dropped the mic for real, didn't he? Go ahead.
Oh look, I'm not letting you back in. I don't know why you down there waving. No.
My bad, y'all. I forgot to pay my internet bill. I was being real mediocre.
Right. Right.
But this was great. This was great. Like I said, we will have technically a part two. Men, it's your fault. So you know, if anybody listening and enjoyed this one, and would like to jump on and be a part of the next one, let me know. Let me know. I love when we have both perspectives, of course, all the time. That makes this thing even out. It makes it even out. And again, everything that's said is not necessarily what you think or you feel, but we really really hope that something came out of this that makes you think twice about maybe how you're operating, whether you're male or female. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much. This was great. I enjoyed. I need y'all to please subscribe. Please go to the YouTube channel. People creeping in. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. We want to definitely build that platform. But thank you for everyone who's everywhere, Facebook, IG. But please go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Maybe I should have had that going. There it is. There it is. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great night. Good night, Mark.
All right. Good night.
Good night, Miss Corey.
Good night.
Good night, Cuzzo.
I guess I can sign off for real now, huh? Oh.
All right, y'all. I really enjoyed. Really enjoyed. See y'all possibly next week, Thursday. I'll see what we looking like. It is a little bit of a 3-day weekend going on, and being that this topic is really bumping right now, and we are really into it, we may just do a third Thursday this month. Topic next time: men, it's your fault. All right, y'all have a good night.